Going on, guys? So we got a pretty darn windy day. Let me see what it is. UAV forecast is saying right now at 100 feet we got 41 mile an hour gusts and 23 mile an hour sustained winds. So what better thing to do than to fly our Mini 3 Pro? I actually was flying my Mini 3 Pro in the city the other night and I was having a really hard time with the winds, and it was only, I believe, 30 mile an hour gusts and probably like 12 mile an hour sustained winds. I was at altitude, so I'm sure that came into effect, and especially with the tall buildings around. But this is a little bit more forgiving environment, so let's just go and see how it does, and if we have any issues with it actually coming back home into us, or if we have any difficulty flying. I figure just chill and see how it does in a high wind environment day. So anywho, let me see. So first off, just so you guys know, as an option, this Lycus Titan case, I think it's like a Titan 300 or something. I don't know the exact model number, but regardless, it's a killer soft case that Lycus makes for the Mini 3 Pro. I also have, I'm just gonna sit down and kind of chill, but I have the little RCN1 controller in this backpack when I go riding my bike and stuff. And I also have Aldrin's little flight path bag that I can keep my Mini 3 Pro in for ease of use when I am out and about and I want the smallest profile possible. So great little thing. I'm not even sure if he has these anymore, but good job, Aldrin. These bags rock. I probably should have bought more. And yeah, let's get this thing in the air and we'll see what happens. As I said, when I was flying in the city the other night, I really had a hard time. I mean, the thing was not even responsive in sport mode, which is kind of unique. That rarely happens. You could usually break through high winds or gusts when you're in sport mode, at least a little bit. This was not moving at all. So again, I've used this analogy a bunch, like being in the ocean with currents or rip currents. You really have to just relax and think it through a little bit and know that there's a way out of the current. You just have to be smart and not fight it and work with it. So maybe lower altitude, maybe move a little bit to the left or right, just do whatever you can and kind of finesse your way back to where you could actually start moving a bit more. I guess people do have flyaways. I've only come close to that a couple times. Thankfully, it never has happened, but regardless, let's see what happens with this guy. So we're going to power on our Mini 3 Pro, and this is not a drone that you want to choose to fly on a windy day like today, but at the same time, why not see if it's possible? I know it's possible. Why not just check and see what happens, and if it really is that sketchy, or if it's something you could kind of work around, or if it just gets blown out of the air. I don't know. I doubt it will. We're going to power this guy on. I'll power on my RCN1. I got my iPhone 13 Pro Max. I really wish it wasn't so sunny because I have a feeling it's going to force dim on me, and that kind of sucks. So I'll start a screen recording. Let me start a screen recording so you can see what the winds are exactly right now. And in the update for the Fly app, they changed the voice, which is kind of weird and kind of creepy, but let me know in the comments below what you think of the new voice. I don't know if you could opt back to the old voice, but regardless. So it says firmware update. That's interesting. What is that? Maybe it's updating the battery or something. So let me stay in the firmware update and have that go through its thing. I thought it was updated. Maybe it's updating a battery or something. But as I was mentioning, when I was in the city flying, trying to get a little real, I couldn't even climb past a certain point. I was trying to get to like 1,000 footish, and it was just not responsive. So it obviously wasn't a good feeling, knowing you shouldn't be pushing it because you would need to move around, or you could just get sucked away when you're that high with no responsiveness in sport mode in your highest speed mode setting. So that was a bit of a shocker. I know it's not rated, as I said, for really high winds, but I never really have that experience when drones aren't responding at all to stick input. So let's hope this firmware update goes. It doesn't really say what it's about. It says the aircraft firmware will be updated to the latest version. So I don't know, something's inconsistent, I guess, apparently. Hopefully this chugs through quickly. It's a really nice cloudy day, meaning clouds in the sky day, a lot of movement, but at the same time it's very windy and gusty and beautiful, but hot. So I don't know if I have a shady area to go into. Maybe I'll try to see. So there we go, it's updating. The Aircraft Mini 3 Pro is restarting. I could possibly sit in my car or go in the shade over there. Maybe I'll do that when I start flying to ensure this thing does not force dim on me. So it says it's still installing and it's saying go fly. Firmware update successful, restart the device. Okay, go fly. So we are ready to go. Oh, it powered off. Reboot the Mini 3 Pro. And yeah, things always go smoothly when you're recording these videos for YouTube. Hats off to the people that do this really seriously. I don't know, I guess if you have an editor and someone to help film, that would make it more ideal. But the people who do it all on their own, you guys are rock stars. I don't know if I have it in me to do all of it all the time. So right now, just as a little tip, I'm gonna go in the auto mode just to get exposure kind of dialed. I'm gonna make sure we're starting off in normal mode. You can see the grass movement and stuff in back.
Approached edge of altitude zone.
Yep, there's that weird little voice.
Home point
So
updated.
the home point is updated, we're ready to go. So what I'll do personally on a day like this, if it's really windy, is hand launch it. So I'm gonna start the props, and you kind of do a little test run
Takeoff.
and see. So launch it,
Home point updated.
and it's almost as if you're saying to yourself, see, the drone can fly. It's not gonna just get blown out of the sky. And maybe just test it right here for a little bit and wait for some big gusts to come through and see. You're seeing it fighting right now a little bit, but it's not anything totally crazy and getting blown out of the air or something. So maybe go a little bit higher. So where are we at right now? So you can kind of see what's going on, right? Move it around a little bit. So it's definitely windy, it's definitely getting affected. And it's still in the air. So next step would be to take off, right? So we'll go higher and commit. Okay. So I'm gonna walk by my car. So right now I'm sitting in my car and kind of looking at what's going on. I'm 40 feet up, right? So let's fly a little bit and see. Okay, we're cruising. I'm in normal mode, mind you. You can see right there. Let's go 100 feet up. I'm gonna go into sport mode. Okay. So far, so good, right? We got movement. We could kind of cruise around a little bit. We're getting the strong wind warning. Aircraft unable to return home automatically, lower altitude immediately, and return home manually. So if I'm getting movement, say I'm going to fly back to this little park right where the crosshair is, right there. I'm over here. I'm going to point the crosshair right where I am. There I am in that little car. And I'm still cruising, and I'm still getting movement. Let's try in cine mode, the slowest mode possible. So all kinds of conditions produce different results. This is, in theory, a twice as windy day as what I was experiencing in the Chicago, and I wasn't able to even move in sport mode. And here, 40-mile-an-hour winds, and I'm cruising around. Mind you, let's go to 400 feet. Let's just get up there. I'm going to go into sport mode and ascend. That's my legal limit here. Oh. Okay, you see that? Sport mode, and I kind of stopped. So let's see what happens. Strong wind warning. So it's definitely not liking altitude. I'm off the stick right now. Full stick left, and I'm going to try to continue to climb. Let's try to climb in cine mode. It's still climbing. And we can look at our battery. We've got 38%. So this is realistically the time when we should start trying to work our way back home. I know where I'm at. I'm not far. But in theory, on a really windy day, our motors are going to have to work that much harder. It's going to have that much harder of a time getting back to us. And everything is just going to deplete itself that much quicker. So on a really windy or a more extreme condition day, definitely fly home when your battery is not at 20% or something like that. So let's cruise this way a little bit and look. I'm going to just fly a little bit. Man, it's moving around and I'm in normal mode. So apparently it can handle. I'm getting strong wind warnings. There's some really gusty winds right now I can see. But there's really not much to take pictures of. There I am right there. And this is another little tip too. So right now I'm full stick left. And this thing is not even moving. Oh, there we go. It is a little bit, but it's probably dancing up there and not very happy. So you see this? So this is full stick left in normal mode. And it's almost like it just doesn't want to move. So let's try full stick left in sport mode. And the gimbal is probably tweaking right now, but if we let off, you can kind of see where we're at. And the key thing is my gimbal is pointed 90 degrees straight down. And with this crosshair, I could go literally right to where I want to go down to. So there's my car right to the left of it. And if I just go down on the left stick, for the most part, if it's not super windy and blowing all over because it's a little 249-gram drone, it should land pretty much right where that crosshair is. So let me go right by my door area. And I could hear it, and I could see it. I'm actually in the car. Hello. We'll try to go and get a little quick footage. Some fishers fishing in that stinky water. Again, I'm going to try for now just to go in cine mode and go really slow somewhere. But you can see the trees. They're definitely blowing. And maybe we can try to get, I'm going to make sure my obstacle avoidance is on. It's off. So we want that on. Oop, my chair just blew over. And we'll try to get a little footage right here. Oh, there's that little post. So anyway, you could kind of see, but that's my little suggestion on a really windy day, is to test out the drone slowly somewhere more conservatively before you go, say, 400 feet up or go into the city in a really hard, tough, advanced environment and test it out. But the bottom line is the Mini 3 Pro or Mini 2, meaning a sub 250 gram drone, is really not your choice for a day like this. Pick an Air 2S, pick a Mavic 2, Mavic 3 Pro, Mavic 3, something like that, and that's going to be your better call for flying safely. But you can see it can handle, it did handle. I'm not flying a ton because there's really no point, but just know that some of the things you can do, and even if you're having a hard time moving, for example, say I'm over here again, let me see, go really high up, get into sport mode, get some altitude. You can just yaw the drone and face it in a different direction. Maybe that's going to fly differently flying forward or backwards as opposed to trying to break the winds flying sideways, for example. So flying sideways probably is never going to be the best case because it's just getting blown all over the place. But if you're flying forward like I am now, it's just cruising. You see that? But if I go and try to fly sideways, it's just probably going to get way more affected by the winds than the opposite. And look how the gimbal kind of gets all jerked around. So that's deceiving too. So that's really it for now. I'm going to land this guy and call it a day. And I hope that helps. And over here, you can see shear is down, winds are up, and that's really it. So got to get the drone down. And here, let me get it down really quickly. Hold on. So if you see this thing, it's definitely going with the winds. So let's get it back. Woo! So there we go. Mini 3 Pro, high wind day, and we can hand land it. And voila. So aloha guys, subscribe, let me know if this helps, and just kind of a fun little video to show that most of these drones can handle, but at the same time, not the best call for a high wind condition day like today. So that's it, bye.